Hey you guys, so today I wanted to talk through the newest Superman trailer. It will be coming out this upcoming summer on July 11th, 2025. And essentially, I think, with this whole new, you can almost call it a rebooted universe sort of situation, there's a lot of hopefulness for a lot of people who are particularly familiar with Marvel because James Gunn has done the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. A lot of people are now like, "Oh my god, what is to come now when it comes to these DC movies, these DC projects?" Because, in the past, I think you have some hits, some misses, and people get really upset when there are certain misses depending on what the project is. And I think here, with it being, hey, we're essentially kind of starting with Superman. And for me, Superman is not like my top tier character. It's not one like when I heard about this movie, I'm like, oh, another Superman movie. They're not doing the whole origin story stuff, like crashes onto Earth, raised by, humans, that sort of thing. It starts, hey, I'm at the Daily Planet, you know, maybe we might get a flashback here and there, but you're seeing Crypto in this, which is, he's a cutie, by the way. I didn't even know he was going to be in this. I read a report, I think it was either earlier this year or late last year, one of the two, where you have a Green Lantern, and it's not just any Green Lantern, it's going to be Guy Gardner. And you may think, why I'm not excited about that. Let me rephrase. It's more so you're having a character that I don't think a lot of people know too much about, or like we have not seen a ton of Guy Gardner. It's more so I think when it comes to Green Lanterns, a lot of people know more so like definitely Hal Jordan because you had the first Green Lantern movie where Ryan Reynolds was Hal Jordan. And then you have Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart is also a great Green Lantern. Would have loved to have potentially seen him here. But it sounds like, because I just heard this today, that there is actually a works for a Green Lantern project where I didn't catch the actor's name, but he's in the new like Mufasa movie. And again, I don't know too much in regards to that actor and everything else. Like I said, I just saw a clip on it today and like it was announced. I'll see if I can like put that in the description too. He looks perfect for Jon Stewart. So I'm really excited about that. And I didn't think I would be. Again, I have nothing against the Green Lanterns. It's just I think it just gives a lot of hopefulness, especially when it comes to people who are very passionate about DC Comics, because you always have DC pitted against Marvel. So there's just, I think for people who are very committed to these characters within DC in particular, now they're getting a little bit extra love. So I'm just going to go through some of this trailer, stop, talk, and kind of go from there. So, as I stated earlier, and I think other people have talked about this as well, if you have kind of been following up on this, it's not going to be the whole origin story thing. Think of it almost like how they've rebooted Spider-Man with, the newest one with Tom Holland and everything. You don't get the whole, oh, hey, he was bit by a spider, here's him being a hero, starting out to be a hero. It just kind of like, hey, you know this obviously, so we're just gonna like skip that part and we're just gonna go. And so that's what it seems like they're doing here, which I think is fine. Because if you are, I think this can go one of two ways. Because I get if you're a newer person coming into this whole thing, and maybe you haven't read the comics, whatever the case may be, we don't always need things like spoon fed to us. You can pick up what's going on based on dialogue, based on story. It doesn't always have to be like spelled out to you. especially if there are other movies that have done that previously. It's time to kind of do something different, something fresh. And if I guess somebody does have questions, bring a friend that knows a lot about it, I guess. I don't know. To me, I just think this is a better start and a take to it. Instead of it always being, oh, everyone else has done it, this way chronologically, hey, we need to start here where he's born, or, when he's growing up, discovers this stuff, whatever the case may be, and then go on. No, we can start a little bit later, and if it needs to be in flashbacks, dialogue, that's how you can explain some of this stuff. So I think here, again, depending on how I think the story is going to go, he might have to essentially go back home, hey, maybe have a chat with his father, adopted father, I guess I should say, or this is a flashback. It's one of two. I don't think it's going to be heavily driven on this because a lot of the trailer is in Metropolis when he is Superman. And I'll say it again. I didn't know Crypto was going to be in this, whether I just didn't read closely enough or I just didn't see the right thing. But I heard people were like skeptical in regards to how Crypto was going to look. And now it sounds like everyone's like, oh, we shouldn't have been worried. He is a cutie patootie. If anything, I would go to just see this movie to just see this dog. I know this is not most likely a real dog. It's probably all just CGI. But that's a cutie patootie and would definitely go see just for Crypto. If we can just have, I know there is one. It's the animated movie, like the League of Super Pets or something. But if that would be fine too. If we just had a dynamic team of just Superman and Crypto, with most of it being Crypto, I would be on board 110%. I think another topic of discussion would essentially be like, because let's face it, in the other Superman movies, Lex Luthor has also been a very prime villain within those movies. So you could, well, except for General Zod, where that was in the Henry Cavill movies. However, you can make the argument. Here's the thing. Think, if you want to kind of think about it in this term, Batman's biggest villain in a lot of cases is the Joker. He also has other villains that you can play with, where it's Riddler, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, who mostly works with the Joker. Um, I yes, Doctor Freeze. Sometimes I get all those ice ones confused with who they're associated with. But like there are other villains that yes, you could play with Batman. But I think when it comes to Superman, yes, he has some other ones that you know of, but Lex Luthor is like the most prominent one. And if you are, again, depending on timeline, how this is being played, obviously we know it's Daily Planet, but if this is like, hey, I'm Superman just starting out, I'm just going, it would make sense why they would want to go with Lex Luthor. Again, he's the most well-known Superman villain. You do, like I said, you do have other ones. You could do other ones, but within, I think the general common knowledge, this is the one that, yeah, we're gonna go with it. And from what I've seen in regards to just the facial expressions within this, there is some talking within this trailer, but facial expression wise, this Lex Luthor is giving just a little bit more than I definitely know the last set of movies that we had, where that Lex Luthor to me wasn't really giving too much in. I think dialogue was fine, look it was fine. It was something in regards to like just everything, the full picture. Assuming what the dialogue, it's fine. It gives what it needs to give. I think this will, Lex Luthor should turn out fine here, and it's very promising, at least to me. given the whole look. Please don't judge on the way this was stopped. It was the best timing I could get. But the fact that Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner in this, and the hair, just everything about it, I am very hopeful. And I think this is going to be very well done. It's it's a Green Lantern again that I don't think a lot of people know. I didn't really honestly know too much about, there's a lot of Green Lanterns, but I didn't find out about other Green Lanterns until there's an episode in Young Justice where I believe it's season 1 where there's all the plants that Poison Ivy is doing along with the other supervillains. And you see Guy Gardner just come quick. He's in a few other episodes as like little cameo, little hey, I'm here, that sort of situation. So you don't see too much of him in that. But I became very curious because I'm like, okay, I know two two Green Lanterns that are at least human. There are others if you watched the Ryan Reynolds movie or the animated show, but it's just I like that they're taking a different take on this, doing characters that haven't been touched on before. I think it's really nice. And then in the background there, you see Hot Girl. Again, a very terrible pausing, but it was the best I could do. And she has been featured in other DC projects, so if you watched some of the CW based DC shows, I know she was in was she in? Yeah, she was in Arrow. And then I know she might have featured a little bit on like the Flash episodes. I was she in a few of Legends of Tomorrow? I forget. But she has not had like too much within just DC products. I know she definitely was in Justice League Unlimited, like more of the animated stuff. I like the looks. Again, I'm hopeful in regards to what this looks like. How will this play into future projects? Because I do think these are characters that you can definitely play with a little bit more, put them in more projects. You can give them their own project, but it would also be beneficial if you can like have like a group sort of situation if you did a Justice League or if you did like some of those I don't want to say Teen Titans, but something like that, like some of the other subgroups where you can play with these. And then this is another character. I've heard the name, didn't know too much about the character itself. And then, so it's Mr. Terrific. I should have said that previously. But um, from what I've heard, when it comes to this movie, he is going to play a good part in it. Um, where it's very substantial and just important to the movie in general. So I'm excited to see particularly where this character lies and how that will again play in future projects, especially if it is supposed to play such a good role. Um, and again, I think it's a character maybe for some where it's like, hey, I know the base level characters. Like I said, I had to go into exactly who this character is and learn a little bit more. But I think it's one like, hey, I'm introducing you into other parts of this universe, other characters that may not be well known. And now you might have a new favorite character you like. That's one of the reasons. Like that's one of the things I really enjoy about stuff like this where even if you have like let's say Suicide Squad, the last one that we had, you had characters, at least to me, where they're not touched on a ton. Like you don't see them normally get their own projects. Harley Quinn does because that's a big name. The Joker does. That's a big name. Like those are big title characters. But then you have some where, oh, I've heard you referenced, or maybe I've seen you in a different project before, whether animated or live action. But now you're getting more of a substantial role and people get to learn more about you. So I think that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to when it comes to this movie. It's not necessarily the Superman aspect. It's I want to see everybody else. That's what I'm what I'm looking forward to the most, honestly, in my opinion. So I know this wasn't a normal like a trailer go through. To me, it wasn't one. There wasn't a ton of dialogue. There was some, but I just felt, hey, I want to just talk through some of this stuff because that's what I'm gonna do anyway. You can watch the trailer on your own, and like get the full ambiance and everything, and see what you want to see. But I just kind of wanted to go through my thoughts and feelings on some of it, and then just like I guess in addition to that, my own experience when it comes to this character, the movie that you know this is centered around, and just my experience in general when it comes to the DC side of things. So yeah, that's essentially what I wanted to do today. And if you have any additional thoughts or comments, please feel free to leave those down below. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.